Alright, so today we're going to start the growth and decay word problems. So we're going to start off with this form right here, and then tomorrow we'll talk about one that's very similar but dealing with the base e. So in this formula, to be honest with you, the variables are arbitrary. They actually rewrite this one formula, I think, 4 different ways in the textbook, and they just keep switching how they've simplified it and the variables they use, but it's really all the same. So don't be shocked if you see a formula that looks like this but has different variables. It kind of has the same framework. So anyway, P is the ending amount that it's going to equal. A is going to be our initial amount, so whatever we're starting with. Then it's going to be 1 plus 1 being 100% of whatever we have, plus whatever's going on. R is the rate of growth or decay. Make sure this is always in decimal form. N is the number of times compounded, so how often it happens each year. And then T is the time, the number of years, or whatever we're talking about. With increments, we're just going to talk about years. You can talk about months, weeks, all that stuff, but that gets into some conversions sometimes in wording. A little bit about the growth and decay. 100%, or 1, because we're writing in decimals, means you have the same amount. 100% of 60 is 60. You didn't increase, you didn't decrease, you stayed the same. If you were less than 100%, that would be a decay. So 50% of 60 is 30. You're now at half at what you had. And then more than 100% would be a growth, so 150% of 60 would be 90. So again, 1.5, 1.5. Now here are a couple examples on how we'd use this formula. So for the first one, a car retails for $30,000. If it depreciates by 15% each year, how much is it worth in 5 years? So to organize my thoughts, I'm going to set up the same way I showed you in the notes. There's my ending amount. There's the starting amount. It depreciates by 15%, or 0.15. Now depreciating means to decrease, so that means that this is going to be a negative rate, or a decay. The number of times compounded is 1, because it happens every year or once a year. And the time is 5 years. And you can see I plugged it in. I changed that plus sign to a minus sign because we're now decreasing. So I get 0.85, plug into a calculator, $13,311.16. The next example, an investment of $20,000 gains 1.5% interest rate quarterly. How much money will the investment be worth in 7 years? So we don't know what it's worth. We started at $20,000. We're changing that 1.5% to 0.015. It's a growth. Quarterly means 4 times, and it happens 7 times, or 7 years. So I plug in. Plus sign, that's an error. Ignore that point. Quarterly, so 4 gets used twice. And then I simplified in here first. Put that to the power of 28 times 20,000, and the investment should be worth $22,209.85. Here are the 2 problems I'd like you to try. They're very similar to the notes as we've been doing, but try them out, and I'll look forward to your answers.